like to call to order the Township of Morris Board of Adjustment regular meeting for September 18th, 2023. The legal notice required in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act is to satisfy the statement certifying saying will be executed. Please join me in saying the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Goldberg.
Here.
Ms. Rothman. Here. Mr. Schuster.
Here.
Mr. Benoit.
Here.
Mr. Kramer.
Here.
I believe maybe you have the date.
Well, we had that before.
Okay, this meeting is still being recorded, and the SLOC acquisitions matter is not this evening. It is November 27 at 7 p.m. at the same location. It is not on the agenda this evening.
Ms. Santiago, do they have to renotice or is it just?
No, they haven't noticed for the hearing.
Okay.
So that will be with notice.
I just have a quick question. Was it ever on the agenda?
No,
Oh, it was not.
no.
Oh, okay. Thank
There
you.
there may have been some miscommunications outside of the agenda, is my understanding. So as a public service, wanted to make sure everyone knew it wasn't.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Trachtenberg, come on up. First item of business is the minutes from several different meetings. We have to take them one at a time to ensure that the person making a motion to approve the minutes and the person seconding was actually at that meeting. So the first one for approval, I'll go in chronological order, is September 19th, 2022. Yes, I'm going in chronological order.
Oh, okay.
That's the only way I could. Okay, any board members, any comments, corrections on these minutes? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Move we approve.
Second.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, who was the motion?
Mr. Kramer.
Kramer, okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Second, Ms. Rothman.
Thank you.
All
All
right.
in favor?
And all in favor is fine.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No.
And Ms. Santiago will reflect the abstentions throughout where necessary.
Right.
Okay. Next minutes to be reviewed and approved are for the October 24th, 2022 meeting. Members of the board, any questions, corrections, amendments, or comments regarding the minutes? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion?
Thank you, Ms. Rothman.
Second.
Ms. Benoit,
Mr.
thank,
Benoit?
thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next is November 28th, 2022. Board members, any comments, corrections, additions? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Ms. Rothman. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Trachtenberg. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next is December 12th, 2022. Board members, any comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion.
Thank you, Ms. Rothman.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Kramer. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Approved. Next is March 27th, 2023. Any comments, board members? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Ms. Rothman. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Benoit, you cannot second.
You're right.
Second.
Mr.
Thank-
Goldberg?
Mr. Trachtenberg.
Oh, second. Okay.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next is April 24th, 2023. Board members, any comments, corrections? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I can move this one.
Okay,
Yes.
yes, you may.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Schuster.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next is May 22nd, 2023. Board members, any comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion.
Thank you.
Schuster?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Benoit. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Let's hear some more ayes out there.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, got through that. Next, we have several resolutions. The first one is BA 11-23.
Certainly happy to summarize. Cannot take credit for this resolution as it was drafted by Mr. Oler. Bless you. But this was 33 Gregory Avenue, a modification to an existing non-conforming two-story dwelling by constructing a second-story addition over the first floor, front yard setbacks from both Gregory and Kennedy Avenue, lot coverage and expansion of non-conforming structure. And the board did grant the approval with what I would refer to as usual conditions for a bulk variance application of this nature.
Board members, any comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Ms. Rothman. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Ms. Santiago?
Mr. Goldberg?
Yes.
Ms. Rothman?
Yes.
Mr. Trachtenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Schuster?
Yes.
Mr. Benoit?
Yes.
Mr. Woodford?
Yes.
So moved.
Next is BA-06-23.
That was the-
Council?
Certainly, Mr. Chairman, that was the DKR 5 LLC application, preliminary and final site plan approval, and D1 use variance relief for converting the remaining portion of the Wells Fargo Bank into a Starbucks restaurant with both indoor and outdoor seating, as well as a pickup window. That application was granted as well, all the use and bulk variance relief and the site plan relief as well. Numerous conditions of approval, including a copy of recorded access agreements between the subject property and adjacent lot 201 for access to trash enclosures, parking, and general vehicular access. The balance of the conditions were more typical of a site plan approval. And hopefully, Mr. Oler's resolution accurately memorializes the board's decision.
Board members, any comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Ms. Rothman. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Go ahead.
Mr. Schuster.
Mr. Schuster. Ms. Santiago?
Mr. Goldberg?
Yes.
Ms. Rothman?
Yes.
Mr. Trachtenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Schuster?
Yes.
Mr. Benoit?
Yes.
Mr. Woodford?
Yes.
So moved.
Final resolution is BA-15-19. Council?
Yes, that was an extension for an additional year for the construction to commence under the variance approval at 16 Hervey Street to expand a non-conforming structure by constructing a second addition above an existing one-story or ranch home. And that was, of course, approved by the board, the one-year extension.
Thank you. Board members, any comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Ms. Rothman. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Trachtenberg.
Mr. Goldberg,
Yes.
Ms. Rothman,
Yes.
Mr. Trachtenberg,
Yes.
Mr. Schuster,
Yes.
Mr. Benoit,
Yes.
Mr. Worcester.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay. Do you have to talk to anybody at this point? or we'll go to the first application? Okay. Now we'll move. Ms. Santiago.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this is Joseph Barnabe. Block in the RA 15 zone for section C, fence along the front yard on Pear Street where no fences in any front yard shall be installed half-feet and any fence installed must parent.
Okay.
And Mr. Chairman, if I may, with your permission, I did have an opportunity to review the content of the notice, found it to be sufficient, found it to be timely served and published, served by certified mail on August 18, published on August 23rd, both at least 10 days prior to this evening. So the board does, in my legal opinion, have jurisdiction to hear and decide the application this evening, and I can swear in the witnesses and our engineer, Mr. Hanson, with your permission when appropriate.
Yes, you may do so.
If all three of you will raise your right hand, please. Do you all swear to God or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you all. Back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Your name and spell your last name, please.
Angela Bernabe, Bernabe.
Sir.
Joseph Barabi, same spell.
David Hanson, we know.
Yes. Hanscn.
Okay. Who's going to speak first on your behalf?
She's the boss.
Okay. Good choice. Ms. Bernabe, can you tell us about this application and why you're seeking this relief?
Yeah, we are looking to expand our backyard in order just to utilize our backyard space, especially with the nursery going back into business. So we could also use the privacy without being able to see it to the yard.
Now, you're on a corner lot, is that correct? And can you describe Pear Street for us?
Pear Street, it's a dead-end street with the vacant nursery there now, and there's one house behind us.
And you anticipate an increase in traffic with the nursery being reopening?
Opening for business, yeah.
Okay, and South Street is, your house fronts on South Street? Right. Now, can you describe exactly where you want to put this fence?
It'll go up to our property line on Pear Street.
So it'll go up to the right-of-way line on Pear Street? And what about, is there any fence proposed for going from the corner of that fence up to your residence?
It's going to go up to our driveway, close to our driveway, and then go back to the yard.
Okay.
Our driveway is on Pear Street.
Okay, let me just look at something here. What type, can you describe the fence you're going to put in there?
A 6-foot privacy fence,
Okay. And wood, metal,
PVC.
PVC? Now, you submitted a survey, is that correct?
Yes.
With the marked out? Gotta find this thing here. Now, this survey that you submitted, is that where it's the dark black? Is
The
that,
dark is our current fence, and we're going to be moving the fence out to Pear Street, towards Pear Street.
okay.
Yeah, that's the existing.
Okay, so you want to go
That
up
way.
the Pear Street and then along this line up
along
to the corner?
driveway.
So this dotted line
Yes.
shows the extension.
Mhm, correct.
Okay. So nothing is going to, no fencing is going to go in front of the house towards South Street.
There is an, excuse me, there is an indication when this zoning permit was denied that they were going to extend the sideline fence on the right side of the house out to the property line of South Street. You see the second circle on the bottom right corner of the
Oh,
property?
okay. So there's a 6-foot wood stockade fence on, if you're facing the home to the right,
That has been removed.
that's been removed. Is there any plans to put anything back there?
That would be where the new fence would be. On,
Can you speak into the microphone,
I'm sorry.
please?
are you talking about on South Street or on Pear Street?
No, between you and the adjacent property,
On South Street.
along South Street.
Yes, that fence was already there when we purchased the home.
Right, and right now it terminates probably about 20 feet from the right of way for South Street, is that correct?
I would assume so, but I'm not sure.
And do you plan to extend that fence at all?
No, we're not touching it.
Okay.
You had indicated in your submittal of the zoning permit that you were going to extend that fence back out to the right of way. That was part of the
No.
denial.
Oh,
So if
not
you're
that
not
one.
putting it
No.
in, we could just take that section of fence out.
Okay.
So it's just a Pear Street.
Just so the fence you're going to do is just out to the Pear Street right away?
Yes.
Okay. And you're worried about trucks and traffic on the nursery? Okay, board members, any questions? No?
Mr. Chairman, if the board
Yeah.
has none, I did have one or two quick ones, if I
Yes.
may, Mr. Chair. Just for clarification purposes, and Mr. Hanson as well, notwithstanding the fact that they're not extending the fence to the rear to South Street, the variances remain the same.
Yes.
The 40 front yard fence in excess of 3.5 feet, and also less than 75% open, in fact, 100% solid, correct?
Yes.
And you submitted a picture with the application materials. Is that indicative of the dogwood style 6-foot high privacy fence that you intend to install?
Mhm.
Okay. Nothing further. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Board members, any questions?
Quick question.
Yes.
So you've indicated that you're gonna have a white fence.
A white fence, yes.
Is that your preference or it just becomes white till you? I'm sort of partial to not white because it's so bright. You know?
Yeah, well, that's what we chose when we put the initial fence up, so we wanted just
So you
to
thought
to
about
match,
it, okay,
yeah.
as long as you thought about it, because it's your fence, is not mine, but they can be kind of overbearing. But you did indicate that if you want to enclose it because you have a pet,
Yeah, we have 2 dogs.
so you're gonna have to put additional fence in between the existing side fence and the house. Is that what's showing here?
I think it already goes to the house on the right side.
Yes.
Oh, it does go to the
Yeah.
house.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I think that's all I have.
All right. Do you have anything you want to add?
No, I think we're good.
Any members of the public which wish to ask any questions of the applicant? Any members of the public wish to make any comment upon this application? Close the public portion. Board members, any comments? Not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve this application. I believe that, given the situation that they're in with the access driveway, essentially for a commercial enterprise that can have a lot of trucks and traffic, especially in the springtime, that having a solid fence for some more privacy is a reasonable request.
And I'll second with the comment that this is what we often see with corner lots. Yeah, it's a corner lot, but on a dead end street.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, by the law, this is 2 front yards, but not really.
So you're seconding it?
Yes.
Santiago, roll call.
Mr. Goldberg,
Yes.
Ms. Reffman,
Yes.
Mr. Trachtenberg,
Yes.
Mr. Schuster,
Yes.
Mr. Benoit,
Yes.
Mr. Kramer,
Yes.
Mr. Woodford.
Yes,
So moved.
okay.
Thank you very much.
So next, our next meeting, there should be a resolution. Once that's approved, you can get your permits and put the fence up.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Okay, we have to take a short adjournment now. Just never know.
I have to take it short. Recess,
You can leave.
recess, okay?
Okay,
So we're gonna take a recess.
Take me with
real
you.
quick.
I don't want to be rude.
okay,
Take a recess. Send you an email. Okay.
okay. 5-minute recess. Meeting for September 18th, 2023.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, with your permission, I got the mic on. I did have an opportunity to, we didn't allow Ms. Santiago to announce the case yet. My apologies. I was too quick.
This is PA 1323, Carolyn and Gregory McLean, Block 8003, Lot 5723 Arbor Way in the RA 15 zone for Section C. Applicant proposed the construction of a two-car garage in a breezeway, creating a front yard setback of 28.5 feet where 50 feet is required, and creating a side yard setback of 7.7 feet where 20 feet is required, and a combined side yard setback of 23 feet where 50 feet is required. Applicant will also request a variance for expansion of a non-conforming structure.
Thank you. Council?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I did have an opportunity to review the notice, found the content to be sufficient, found it to be timely served and published. Certified mail August 22nd, published August 28th, both at least 10 days prior to this evening. So again, as with the prior case, in my legal opinion, the board has jurisdiction to hear, decide this case, and I'll be happy to swear in everyone when we know who the witnesses are, as well as Mr. Hanson.
Thank you, counsel. Simone Cali, Cali Law LLC, on behalf of the applicant, the McLeans. As Ms. Santiago indicated, we are here
Recorded.
Okay, the witnesses have been sworn. Mr. Nichols, can you give us a little bit of your background?
Okay, I've been registered as an architect in New Jersey since 1996. Bachelor degree from Auburn University. Certificate of architecture from the Institute of Classical Architecture in the city. I've testified before this board a few times and before possibly another 20 boards throughout the state.
And your license is in good standing?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Recognize you as an expert in the field of architecture. You may proceed.
Okay. All right. Yeah, this house right here it's located on Arbor Way. It's right behind the building here, the end of the cul-de-sac. It's right through the woods here. And it is a split level. And the right now existing, there's a single car garage. The bulk of the neighborhood is made up of 2-car garages. And the client would like to convert the house into having a 2-car garage. The existing 1-car garage is behind what's drawn here. It's actually right behind this bay. And he would like to convert the existing garage into his workshop. The house itself has a very tiny basement. It's underneath the living room. It's basically the size of his living room. And what's in the basement right now is the laundry, the furnace, water softener. And so there really isn't a whole lot of room for his workshop. And so anyways, he would like to get the 2-car garage, brand new. That would help also. Right now, he's parking his cars out in the driveway. There are some issues with the existing garage. Right here, the driveway, the existing garage is right here. And the property slopes from the road back to a stream behind the house. It's pretty flat, but it does slope. And the driveway pretty much slopes with it towards the garage. Per code, that's not really allowed for new homes. So the drainage of the driveway actually drains up against the garage door. There is a little trench drain. The client, the homeowner did tell me that he does have to clean it out periodically. Otherwise, it basically floods out the downstairs area. The garage itself, the existing garage, it's a flat slab. And once again, that doesn't meet code either. When we draw up new houses, they typically we have them pitched about 4 inches, and that's per code. In case like any fluids, like a gas can falls over, the fumes basically sit down by the garage slab, and with the sloping garage slab, the fumes go out towards the door. So anyways, that's what we're proposing. With a new 2-car garage out in front, we're actually raising the garage up 2 feet from the existing garage to get us that proper pitch. Okay, this front elevation basically shows the 2-car garage. The side setback line basically cuts right through this right bay. We are proposing a little addition up above. It's for a master bath and 2 closets for the master bedroom. And this addition on the 2nd floor are actually, they do comply to the setbacks. You go to, okay, that drawing is A. If you go to A2.
You want it to be brought up?
Yes, A2.
And I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, with your permission, before we do the plans you were referring to initially, can you just give us the last revised date on those?
Okay, the last revised date is June 15th, 2023.
Okay, and those were submitted more than 10 days, I'm sure, in advance of this evening, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so no need to mark those as an exhibit. We're fine so far. Thank you.
Okay.
When do we have a May?
Okay.
We got May.
We have
Now
May.
there's a revision
Well,
marked out
revision
at
date.
6:15.
The-
May 17th.
But Dave, is there a
Revision date,
revi-
6/15.
there's a revision date a little bit above it.
Yeah, I see it.
Oh, yeah,
No, there is.
6:15, yep.
You don't have it, I'd have it. You want mine?
No, no. No, it's not on the file copy that was in there. Yeah, if I can have
Want mine?
somebody's, yeah, if I can have somebody's copy.
What's the date that
Give me
you
a
have?
credit card for security deposit.
Yeah. Okay, no, I don't have this, this was not in the file.
It's yours now.
All right,
Okay.
we're good.
All right, sheet A2. Okay, basically this shows the existing house. Here's the existing front elevation. We're proposing the two-car garage out in front of this little wing right here. This is that living room that's up high. It's up a half a floor. And underneath the living room is that tiny basement. Behind the living room, it steps down. It's the dining room is actually at the ground level. That's behind it. Here's the dining room. Here's the elevated living room. This is the existing garage. Years ago, I think the client can elaborate on this. This was a two-car garage, and the previous owner converted the bay on the left into living space. And that's why there's only a one-car garage. Here's the second floor. There's 3 bedrooms. The master bedroom suite is up in front. If you look at the bathroom, it's pretty tiny. It's only 4'3" deep. I was out there this morning, put a tape to the toilet, and it's 20 inches from the toilet to the outside wall, which doesn't meet code. It's a basic house for people like in their 30s, 40s, growing families. But when they get to like 60s and 70s, a bathroom like that's not really proper. If ADA is ever required, it's completely undersized. So anyway, we proposed a bathroom and 2 closets off to the side over here, and a mudroom with a 2-car garage, excuse me, out in front of the existing ground floor. The reason we bumped the garage forward, this living space is actually a bedroom. And there's the windows are out in front here. If we put the garage up tight against it, we would not have a wall for windows. So that was the reason we brought it forward and added a mudroom. To drawing A1. Okay, so A1, and here's that mudroom, bedroom, existing bedroom for sunlight, for windows, proposing. And I just created a space for a mudroom. You can see in the mudroom, it steps down about 3 steps. And that's because we did elevate the garage to address the drainage issue of water draining up against the existing garage. So this garage is up 2 feet from the proposed garage. Don't know what else to say here. I think that's about it.
A couple of questions.
Yes.
You're concerned about the drainage from the driveway, so you've raised the garage. Where is that runoff going to go now?
Uh, the- There is a bit of a crown in the garage, I mean, in the driveway, and the existing, the front of the driveway does slope towards the road. So basically, what's going to be left over with most of the driveway will drain to the road.
What about water on the front yard sloping running towards the house? How is that going to be dissipated? Now that we have this extension, you're proposing this extension that will butt out.
Well, basically, we're really not changing the grade of the front of the house.
Okay.
It is very flat, right? The first 30 feet in front of the house. And it's basically drains to the left.
Okay, so it'll drain
Actually,
towards the school.
yeah, well, actually towards this building, yes.
Yeah, the existing drainage in the front yard runs towards the front left corner. And then based on the topography, it wraps around the house and then runs towards the backyard.
Okay. Secondly, on A1, I see two places where it says existing kitchen.
Existing kitchen. Oh, that's a mistake. The one on the right is a family room.
That's what I thought, but I just wanted to
Yeah,
make sure.
my mistake.
Now, in your professional opinion, is there any other way this garage could be situated so it would not further encroach on the setback lines?
It's-
Is there any other place you could put it so it wouldn't go so far into the setback lines?
Well, regarding the side setback line, if we did shift it over to the left, it starts blocking out the house. I'm not sure you really want to have a house that's kind of blocked out by the garage. We try to draw up houses where you can see the front door from the road.
And what's the side yard there from for the garage? To these, side
It's-
yard?
Okay, I think it's on sheet A. The required side setback is 20 feet, and what we are proposing is 15 and a half feet, which is actually also existing for that side of the house.
So it's not going to further encroach on the neighbor's property?
No, it's not.
Board members, any questions? Yes,
Mr.
Mr.
Chairman, were you done with your testimony? I wasn't sure.
Excuse me?
Were you done with all of your testimony?
We have one more witness, but
No, of yours, just the architect. Okay.
yeah.
Do you know, there are other houses on the street
Yes.
that are L-shaped and that come further toward the street than the other side of the L. And do you know if any of them come to within a similar distance from the street that what you're proposing is?
Our planner
Yeah, I think I would have to have the planner
Fine,
discuss
will
that.
address that.
that's fine, okay, thank you. But I will say that looking at that drawing, the bottom left, it does appear as though the water would drain toward the house from the right to the left.
The driveway it's probably about a foot
But
from
then
here to the road,
continue going toward the house and
it comes this way
it goes that way.
and
Okay,
around the house,
okay,
as Mr. Hanson explained.
right. The drawing, I guess, is a little deceiving. Okay, thank you. The length of the mudroom, I guess it couldn't be any shorter looking at. You have the door that goes into the mudroom from the side.
It does get a little tight. It's, see, we have to get room for the steps, and then by code, we have to have a platform.
Right.
It's,
Right. Okay. All right, thank you. That's all I have.
Other board members, any questions?
Mr. Chairman, if I may I
Yes.
ask one or two quick ones? Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just for confirmation purposes, I guess that's the northeasterly side yard setback proposed for the garage is approximately the same as the existing side yard setback on that side for the dwelling itself, correct?
yes,
So it's in essence a horizontal, correct me if I'm wrong there, Dave, a horizontal extension of an existing side yard setback encroachment.
that's
Thus
not
warranting the
conforming.
variance relief, but it's not encroaching any further than what presently exists.
Correct.
Okay. And I guess that would be the same for the combined side yard setback in essence.
Wouldn't change.
It's already existing in that same number. And the side yard setback for the new addition on the left side or the, what is that, the southwest side? Is that really variance relief that's required, Dave, technically? Because I assume that the garage itself, the addition complies with the 20-foot side yard setback on that side.
What are you talking, to the left or to the right? from
To the,
street?
well, stage, what is that, stage left? Or the stage, to the
When
left,
you're looking at the street.
when you're looking at the home.
Yeah, no, the existing house is closer to the property line than the proposed. So if you were treating this as an addition, it's meeting side yard setback on the one side.
Right.
But then when you look at it from a whole, the combined front right corner to front, or the front or rear right corner of the left side of the house, that creates the combined variance.
Right. So I think in essence, the side yard setback to the right and the combined side yard setbacks, that's new variance relief.
Yeah.
But the side yard setback on the left with respect to the addition, it's probably actually compliant for
It
the
is
addition.
compliant.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the
Probably
front-
well over 60 feet on that side.
Yeah. And then the front yard setback is a new deviation entirely, where one didn't presently exist. I just want to kind of make that clear to everybody what really is and isn't a variance, and what's a pre-existing, but just a horizontal extension as opposed to a further encroachment.
63 feet to the left property line.
And there's a shed in the back northwest corner, perhaps. Is that compliant with the required setbacks?
12 by 7, so it's under 100 square feet. It's got a 9.6 setback to the left property line and well over 10 feet to the back property line, so it's conforming.
So it is conforming. Okay, but it looked a little close. But got it. Okay, thank you.
On the side of the house, is there
Yeah.
a problem with having two sheds?
It being less than 100 square feet and 7.7 feet off the property line, it's conforming.
Okay, thank you.
And probably. And in the lot itself, is it undersized and narrow for the zoning? And I apologize for not having, I should
No,
have
it's-
double checked.
453 feet over the 15,000.
Oh,
It's conforming,
It's conforming both as to lot area and lot width?
yes.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Nothing further, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Board members, any questions? Any members of the public with questions of this witness? Questions only. Comments can come later. Seeing none, hearing none, close the public portion. Counsel, your next witness.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Paul Ricky, our professional planner. Paul, can you state your name and spell it for the record, please?
Yes, my name is Paul Ricky, R-I-C-C-I.
And can you give the board a brief overview of your qualifications and experience?
Yes, I'm a licensed professional planner in the state of New Jersey. I've been licensed since the year 2000. Also a member of the American Institute of Certified Planners. I have a master's degree in city and regional planning, which I received in 1997. I'm currently a municipal planning consultant to 6 towns. I've been qualified in over 200 boards throughout the state, including this township.
Thank you, Paul.
All right.
Thank you.
Credentials are accepted. I assume your license is in good standing?
It is, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Paul, can you give the board an overview of what you reviewed in preparation of your testimony tonight?
Yes, I visited the site. I reviewed pertinent sections of your zoning ordinance. I reviewed your most recent master plan. Talked with the applicant, reviewed the documents submitted as part of this application to form a planning opinion.
Thank you, Paul. Take it away.
Sure, I do have an aerial
Yes.
exhibit that I wanted to show. Maybe I'll qualify that now. It's a,
The black one, right? Yes.
yes, and I have some additional copies as well.
Would it pass through the-
That would be A1.
I did
A1.
not want to always rely on technology.
I'll always thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Paul, this is A1.
Thank you.
September 2023, or was there an actual date this month on here?
It's dated September 2023. It doesn't have a specific date. The map is entitled Aerial Map and Zoning 23 Arbor Way, Morris Township, New Jersey. It was prepared in a geographic information system, which allows me to overlay aerial photography, the lot line base prepared by Morris County, as well as the existing zoning information. You can see we're labeled here in the RA 15 district. And then we just highlight the subject property in orange. You can see directly, you can see north is slightly tilted, slightly to the left. You can see as indicated on the bottom right of the exhibit. And you can see where we're sitting maybe a few hundred feet just to the south of the subject property. You can see the parking lot in the middle bottom center of this site that we're sitting at right now, as well as the school to the left. Part of the reason I prepared the exhibit, and I'll talk about it more in a moment, and this builds upon, I'm also going to look to rely upon one of the architectural exhibits that was provided. Board members may have noticed that, I'm not sure the architectural exhibit that shows the site plan. It's a principle of zoning, and it's well established that when we create a streetscape, we look to have buildings in a line along a street, not having buildings some setback way closer to the others, some setback way further back, to create that level of consistency. And that's a principle of zoning that we learned very early on in graduate school. If I could bring up the exhibit with the site plan, which one is the site plan? Exhibit A.
Just A.
And I think maybe the architect
Yeah,
didn't
switch back and forth.
want to steal, I'm sorry,
There you go.
maybe didn't want to steal some of the planning type vernacular that I'm going to provide, but
That's the
yeah,
Brookline
yeah.
setback, that line, and it's shown right here.
So
And then this curve is right here.
So what the architect is indicating, when you drive down Arbor Way and you look to the right, the proposed addition is going to appear to you as being in line with the existing structures. For that reason, it would not result in a dramatic change to this character of the area, and I'll talk about that momentarily. I mean, that's the number one goal in your master plan is to ensure that the existing character of the community largely remains unchanged in residential areas. If we could switch back to the aerial as well, Exhibit A1. And the numbers that I show on the lots, that's the block and lot for the subject properties. So starting at the center top, looking to the left on Arbor Way, you see block 8003, lot 61. And then as you start heading in a generally southerly direction towards the subject property, those principles hold true on my exhibit as well, which is an aerial that shows that the subject property is essentially set further back and that there's an opportunity to provide an addition in the front of the house while retaining those principles of zoning. We are seeking relief under the flexible C, the C2 criteria, where we can show that the application advances a purpose of zoning. And here we're relating this to a specific piece of property, a unique condition in this RA 15 neighborhood, and where that the benefits associated with this addition outweigh any detriments, and that the variances can be granted without a substantial detriment to the public good and zone plan. And we heard a few benefits as well from the architect. There's some existing conditions that are going to be corrected as part of this property. We heard from the pitch associated with water, the ability to help improve fumes, or if there was ever a spill or something associated with an older building, and having that slab in the driveway not being appropriately pitched. In terms of the variances, so we are seeking the front yard setback, right? And in that regard, it's from 50-foot requirement to 28.5 feet. And where we're expanding it, I'm not sure if Mr. Warner considers it a continuation of a non-conforming condition, but the 15.3 feet that is being extended on the one side yard is also a new condition that's being exacerbated in this environment. Again, that side yard setback will be no closer to the adjoining property. The adjoining property just to the north, 21 Arbor Way, the side yard there, if you measure it on the architectural drawings, is approximately 18 feet. That is a non-conforming condition as well. And part of the reason that I provide my exhibit A1 as well, is that, well, this is not surveying information, and as a planner, it's difficult to obtain exact setbacks of all properties without having a survey going out and surveying the neighborhood. You can see on the exhibit that the conditions associated with the applicant's property in terms of setbacks in the side yard are largely consistent with what you see along Arbor Way. The applicant, I could not confirm this, but the applicant indicated to me when itself, the building height is 11.5 feet under ordinance requirements. The maximum building area is under ordinance requirements. And the rear yard setback requirement is over 2 times greater than what's required. So that tells me that this is not an application of overdevelopment. as those principles are met. So here, it's my opinion that this application and these variances can be granted without a substantial detriment to the public good, the naming the surrounding property owners, namely, and without a substantial impairment to the intent and purpose of your zone plan based upon these unique characteristics of this specific property. And I may have jumped over a couple of my points, but that's largely my direct testimony.
Thank you, Paul.
Okay, board members, any questions of this witness? Mr. Benoit?
So going back to my question before, you've discussed it to some extent, how this property is further back than others. Did you measure any of the others?
I did not measure because first I would, if I had a rangefinder, which I do have one, determining where to measure from and being equal is difficult. But I believe what you're referring to, sir, is just up the road at the intersection of Hoffman Court. There's a building that has a similar situation where the garage is closer to the street than many others. That's off of this aerial. So I can't provide you with exact numbers if that's what you're looking for, but as a planner that's been doing this for over 20 years, I think that's the property that you're talking about that has a similar characteristic proposed by the applicant.
Well, I mean, there are several houses
Yeah.
actually that have the L coming closer to the street than the other side of the L. And I was just curious because some of them do appear to be comparable to what's being proposed. So I was just wondering if there were any measurements. So that's all.
I do not have that specific measurements because in the past, I have drawn off of the GIS system, but if whoever created the file was slightly off in where they placed the right-of-way, I could be giving incorrect information. So that's why I at least provided the aerial that I think that shows the characteristics. I think the main characteristic was the front yard setback. And here we're showing it is set back, and we are lining up with the central line of the homes in the neighborhood. And I thought that was the most important characteristic. That's why.
Okay, thank you. No more questions.
Any other board members with questions?
I had a question.
Sure.
You had mentioned that or perhaps it was the architect, but that the homeowner wants to use the existing garage as like a workshop.
Yeah.
My assumption is you mean carpentry and not auto mechanic type workshop. And I just wanted to be clear about that.
Hobby, yeah, just some like woodworking.
I'm sorry, technically, we'd have to swear him in, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
But
Which we
is your
could do.
question pertain, I don't want to pertain to that, we're not going to have oils and things of
Correct,
that
because
nature?
when
Is-
I look at
okay.
this aerial, I see like four, potentially 5 automobiles in the driveway. And most of the other driveways have like 1, maybe 2 cars in it. So I just want to be clear that,
Let's swear
Okay.
in
okay,
the homeowner.
thank you.
But before we do that, we can come back to that in a
Sure.
second. Is there any
Okay.
other,
Sure.
let's keep
Thank
this
I have-
orderly as
that's
far
the
as
only question
jumping
I have.
around. Any questions of this witness? Counsel?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Ricky, I take it one of the benefits that you would offer for purposes of this C2 application would be the garaging of vehicles as opposed to having them in the driveway in the view shed of the streetscape?
Yes, I skipped over yes. So in terms of in terms of the pitch of the slab and the fumes and promoting neighborhood harmony, that promotes purpose A of the municipal land use law. Purpose G is to provide sufficient space for the needs of residential uses for New Jersey citizens. And here, purpose M in terms of the efficient use of land. But clearly, housing cars in garages does result in an improved aesthetic and something that would be consistent or more consistent with their neighborhood over the existing one-car garage.
And that answers my second question as well, which was going to be which specific purposes of the MLUL would you be offering? I got A, G, and M, so thank you. Nothing further, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Mr. Hanson, any questions?
No other questions.
Any other board members with questions? Any members of the public with questions? If so, come up to this microphone.
No questions.
No questions? Okay. All right. No questions, close the public portion. Your next witness.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In order to answer Mr. Rothman's question, I would like to call the property owner to provide that brief answer, but he must be sworn in.
Okay.
Greg, you can come up here.
If you, and if your name for the record, please?
Gregory McLean.
Can you please raise your right hand? Do you swear to God or affirm testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Greg, tell me your relationship to the property in question, 23 Arbor Road, just for the record.
I am the co-owner along with my wife.
Thank you. You heard the question from the board member. The plans, I think, have a notation that the intended use of the existing garage is to be for your workshop. Can you just provide some details what that means? What's happening in your workshop?
Just general, carpentry, woodworking, essentially.
Hobbies,
Hobby.
not your profession.
Not a business enterprise of any kind, right?
And you don't work on cars, is that correct?
Correct.
There was also one other question. You intend to park your vehicles inside your hopefully approved two-car garage, is that correct?
Absolutely.
Thank you. I have no further questions for Mr. McLean.
Board members, any questions? Mr. McLean? None? Any member of the public with any questions of this witness? Mr. Hanson?
No, I'm okay.
All right. Counsel?
Thank you.
Good. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, that concludes our presentation for tonight.
Do you
Would you
want
like my-
public comment first
Sure.
before you give a summation?
Yes.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah, no, I was going to say that. Any members of the public wish to be heard on this application? If so, please step up to the microphone. Your name, sir?
A. Zoltan Lapsley, 22 Arbor Way, Morristown,
Can
New
you
Jersey.
spell that last name, please?
A. Andrew, Zoltan Lapsley. Colloquially, I go by Drew. So
Okay. And I'm sorry, your address is?
22 Arbor Way, directly across the street from the McLeans.
And if you'll please raise your right hand, do you swear to God or affirm that testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
So help me God. Yes.
Thank you. With the chair's permission, please proceed.
Yes.
I've known the McLeans since they moved in. They're exemplary neighbors. Their children and my children grew up together. I'm an engineer by training. I retired from Goldman Sachs in 2018. I now work for a small investment company in Memphis, Tennessee, but I maintain my residence in Morristown. My home office is in my living room with a giant picture window that looks at Greg's house and Carolyn's house. And I've watched over several
Okay. Now you can proceed.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to comment. When we understood that Greg and Carolyn were hoping to do this project, we actually asked if we could attend the meeting to make a comment. At a minimum, my wife and I feel that there's no way that this project could possibly have an impact on our use and enjoyment of our home and property. Furthermore, we appreciate that the design maintains a positive aesthetic for the neighborhood. And, we note also that this will certainly increase the value of the home, which, as Drew mentioned, is obviously in the, better interest of neighbors and the neighborhood. But most importantly, I think that, as everyone knows, neighborhoods are made up of people. And if this helps for, these, we've been here about 5 years, and these very nice, good people as neighbors, if it helps them to stay a little longer and be neighbors, we definitely want to come out and support that as well. And we hope the board consider that too. Thank you very much.
Board members, any questions of this witness? If not, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any other members of the public wish to be heard? Mr. Hanson, do you have anything to add?
Just that even though this is a sizable increase in the area of the house, it is being built over the existing driveway that's out there. So you're going from impervious to impervious, and that's why my report didn't have anything in it about drainage.
Okay.
Because it doesn't meet the threshold to require drainage for dry wells and that type of thing.
Okay. Noted.
So I'm okay with it.
Okay, great. Thank you. Ms. Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This arguably modest addition would, of course, give the homeowners some more space in their house, but it will also improve a few of the existing conditions. I think correct a few is more appropriate. Correct a few of the issues at the site right now. You heard about the pitch. You heard about the very undersized master bedroom on the second floor. This is an opportunity to correct those issues, get those cars out of the driveway and parked in a two-car garage. And really for the reasons that you heard tonight set forth by our planner, that we meet the requisite standards to obtain the C variance relief, I would respectfully request that you act favorably on the McLean's application and vote to approve. Thank you.
Sorry.
Okay, thank you. Board members, any comments, questions, anything you want to say about this application? I think what impressed me the most was when I was looking at the plot plan as it went down Arbor Way and you got to the cul-de-sac, and how it looped into the property. I said, same thing that the planner said, that it would basically be a more uniform frontage along Arbor Way and more visually striking, as opposed to having the house set back further away from the every other house. Given that, and given that it's correcting the drainage problems that are now seem to inhabit the driveway, I would vote in favor of this, but I'd like to hear from other members. If not, I'd entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to first thank the neighbors for coming by and testifying, because I know it's not always easy, but it is really helpful for us as board members to hear the neighbor's perspective. When I first saw the property, I was like alarmed, thinking, oh, it's gonna be so close. But then I looked at the other properties on the street and I realized that the addition would really be kind of symmetrical to what already exists. And so I felt like it wouldn't be really affecting, it wouldn't be harming the neighborhood at all. It's already kind of that way. So consistent with the chairman just said, it helps the draining. And I'm a big fan of helping homeowners when we can to improve their homes. And I know that improves the neighborhood. So I'm in favor of this application as well.
Can I have a motion?
I'll move it.
Is that a second?
Second.
Thank you. Ms. Santiago.
Mr. Colbert,
Yes.
Ms. Rossman,
Yes.
Mr. Trachtenberg,
Yes.
Mr. Schuster,
Yes.
Mr. Benoit,
Yes.
Mr. Kramer,
Yes.
Mr. Whitford,
Yes.
so moved.
Thank you very much.
Much different than the last time you were here. It's good to
Sonny,
see you.
You as
I
well.
did it A1. I'll put it in the file.
All right. Next matter is the application for an extension on, what's the, I gotta go find my, yeah, my agenda where I put it, so I can get the, on BA-01-17. Council, why don't you tell us what this is all about?
Certainly, Mr. Chairman. It's my understanding, and please correct me if I'm wrong, Ms. Santiago, that this was an approval back about 5 years ago, that the applicant received the usual 2-year post-final site plan approval protection period, and for reasons at least somewhat stated in this August 2nd letter, after 2 one-year extensions, is requesting the third and last statutorily provided extension under Section 52 of the Municipal Land Use Law, because the applicant has been unable, due to the reasons stated in the August 2nd letter, commence construction, as I understand it. Do we have the date of the resolution of approval by any chance? It's not critical, but that's my understanding of this request.
And what's our procedure here? Just to, make someone who has to make a motion?
Yeah, so long as you think for reasons outside of the control of the applicant, they were unable to commence construction thus far, then that would be sufficient cause to grant the third and last one-year extension by way of motion second and roll call vote. And Mr. Oler, no doubt, will draft a resolution, perhaps somewhat similar to the one that we adopted earlier this evening for an extension.
Okay. So any comments? If not,
Yeah, I have a question on this. So is it my understanding that if we grant this, they get 1 more year, and then how is time demarcated after that? They have to pull a building permit, and then let's say they don't even stick a shovel in the ground. Like, how long can
No,
this?
the building permit is sitting in the building department,
Okay.
waiting for this extension.
Okay.
So it's not going to happen tonight. It'll happen next month after the resolution is passed. And they get a copy of the resolution, the permit will be issued because it's already been reviewed.
Okay, so then they can come get their permit.
Yeah.
What if they don't do anything?
They've already tried to break ground
Okay,
and they've been stopped.
got it.
Okay.
So they are about to proceed. This
Yeah,
isn't
they cut a
another-
driveway in, the county called us and we told them
what I
it was an
thought.
active application.
okay.
And then we started looking and we found out that it had expired.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
And the problem being, I don't want to get into his personal matters. He lost his money partner.
Got it.
So he's looking for investment.
Okay, thank you.
And if I may, the one-year extension period would be non-protunct after the fact. It would go back to whenever the expiration was. I don't have that information on the letter, but presumably it was, well, do you know, I guess?
August, I'm assuming.
Was it
No,
August?
but within a couple of days after he gets his extension, he will break ground and start construction. So that kind of ends.
It'll be
the-
moot, yeah. But it's
It'll be
less than,
mooted
it's
out.
less than a year from now that they'll have, apparently.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So does this have to, this have to be done within a year of this extension, or is it just start?
Just
Yeah,
start.
commence, yeah.
And just a quick follow-up question. So once they break ground on it, and then what, like, they can just show modest progress over the course
Oh,
of time, or?
I don't think it's going to drag on like it has. I think once ground is broken, they're going to try to get a foundation. Prepare
We've been having problem with the Wi-Fi. That's why it's dropping.
One
don't
of
know why,
them
but-
was the first day of
Passover?
Passover, but
Was it the first day?
Passover
I
Eve.
believe
Hold on, let me see.
so.
What month?
April
please?
22nd? Let me
April
just double check.
22nd, let's see. April 22nd. April 22nd?
No, it should be March.
April 22nd. I have
February 22nd, I have Passover Eve.
Not
April.
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 April 24th, right. I mean, April 22nd.
Right, so I'm just wondering, I would have to check, but what I'm assuming is Passover starts
On the night before.
on sundown on the 22nd.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
Not,
I mean, I won't be here, but that's
Yeah.
okay.
Would that be a problem for everybody else?
that would be a problem for me as well.
Kind of for me.
So we could always move to the 24th because April have 5 Mondays.
So,
So the 29th.
So we could move it to the 29th.
okay, let's do that.
See, this is why I bring it before. ahead of
No, listen, we
time.
have plenty of runway here, Sonia.
So we'll move it to April 29th, okay?
All right.
Thank you.
Bring your leftover matzah.
Might be stale.
The other one was that, it's
Lord.
May because of Memorial Day, we always have to move it up one Monday. So that was moved to Monday, the 20th. Those were the only days. Everything else, I sat down with Jim and we went over all these dates, okay? And make sure that it didn't interfere with the holidays or anything like that. I mean, for graduation, it's before graduation day. I mean, it's after graduation. Okay, and for April is spring breaks. And our meeting is usually at the end. So we are okay.
Great.
All right. And we make sure we took care of all the holidays and all that. Anybody else have any other date that they
No.
feel that it might interfere with them?
No,
Attendance or anything like that?
no.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. So I'm gonna correct that one, okay, to April 29th.
Okay. Any other matters? Mr. Hanson, council?
Thank you for allowing me to be here this evening and work
Thank you.
together with you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, if not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second, I have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.